Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about the transit south node, sextile or trine one's natal Mars. Now, this transit may be expressed in what you're going away from, your past, what you're naturally proficient in, at least at this time now, and also what may be affecting you to your detriment. And being in harmony, with your vitality, your energy, your actions and initiative. Now, I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. It's not so much that what's affecting you adversely is going to be good for your vitality or energy level, but what it is, if you're going away, you're trying to get away from something in your life that may be affecting you to your detriment. It's about having the vitality, the energy, the will, and the courage to do this at this time. If you have, say, if the transit south node is in Scorpio in the 11th house, it could be getting away from manipulative friends, people that claim to be your friends, but are really just using you, have ulterior motives. It can be, or even if the transit south node is in Scorpio in the 4th house, it could be some kind of controlling person in your home situation, somebody that's just really about power and control that's in your home life, and you might be overly domineering, and it's a time where you have more of the energy to have in order to get away from this. And it's also too where people that are prominent in your past may be beneficial to you in taking some action or initiative, on some situation in your life. If you have your natal Mars in the 2nd house, it could be a time, as far as something on a monetary level. If it's about making more money, um, this is the time where those people can be more beneficial to you in doing this. If there's something that needs some confrontation or something that requires certain courage, those people can be very beneficial and advantageous for you in doing that as well. And this is also a time as well. If there's any anger issues that you're dealing with, because Mars, of course, is connected with anger, it's more of a positive time, to be getting away from that, letting the anger go over a situation, whether it's something that was connected with a friend or a job or some place of employment. Maybe you were dealing, with some, could be some domineering supervisor. This is at your place in business. There could be a time, or even it could be a family member. This is the time where it's likely easier to just let go of that anger. And I would say as well, when you have this transit, it's also about doing things. You might feel some natural ability for it, at least at this time, and being able to have the energy, the vitality, and the enthusiasm to do so. Now, this is not something where this transit of the south node is not going to. Of course, it doesn't supplant or replace your natal south node placement. Your south node placement, of course, that's a constant that stays with you during your entire life. But the transit of the south node can show some abilities you may be able, in this example, to incorporate with doing something that's associated with the planet Mars. Now, um, this could also be a time to have, really to have more that drive and motivation, the incentive to actually get away from something that may be able, that might be affecting you adversely, or even doing things with people that were prominent in your past, whether it could be somebody from grade school, or it could be somebody that figured prominently in your early childhood, as some examples. Now, another thing too about this is that, okay, if you've had any issues that are Mars related physically, that anatomically are connected with the planet Mars, such as something with the head, the skull, the face, or the sexual organs. This is a positive time to be getting away from those issues. If you've been procrastinating or hesitating on any of those matters, this is the time where you're likely to have, more that ability to do that. Remember, when you have the transit south node making a sextile or trine to your natal Mars, the transit north node is making a sextile or trine to your natal Mars. The transit south node, for example, is making a sextile to your natal Mars, then the transit north node will be making a trine to your natal Mars, and if the transit south node is making a trine to your natal Mars, the transit north node is making a sextile to the natal Mars. So it's auspicious for really dealing with addressing those issues as well, because of the positive transit of the north node to your natal Mars, which is occurring at the same time, because the transits that involve the north node can involve issues that one may have to address and confront, and it can be easier doing so with the positive transit, of course. Now, and it could also be, Mars can be, it's about physical related injuries in general. If you have your natal Mars in the zodiac sign Cancer, it could be some physical related issue with the chest, the breast, the ribs, the stomach at this time. And if you're having any of those issues, I should say, at this time, then it would be easier, more likely to be able to get away from it without having the diversions or distractions or delays in doing so. And it's also a time too where if you need to do something that involves some kind of leadership at this time, it could be that things, someone that was prominent in your past may help inspire you to do so, may be in all favor of this, may be very encouraging at this time. And some of you may wonder, okay, what's the difference between, this transit and the conjunction transit? Well, they're comparable, but they're not exactly or precisely the same. The sextile and trine is auspicious, it's flowing. The conjunction is more intensifying and integrating. And what happens when you have a conjunction aspect transit, you could be so focused on what's connected with the transit that it might be where you're oblivious to like everything else practically, and it's to the exclusion of other things. Like, let's say if you're trying to, let's say if the transit south node is making a conjunction to the natal Mars, you could be trying, so hard, to get away, from some acrimonious situation or something that's contentious, or even a physical related issue, that you might be missing out on other things that need to be done as well that might have certain importance and significance in your life. But anyway, now this is also a time, again, going back to Mars being connected with confrontation. It's a time where if something needs to be done, and if it's a situation that's been contentious or acrimonious, it might be easier to pull away from it at this time, to leave behind that situation. And it's also a time where it's easier to be able, if there is, if a confrontation needs to take place, it could be easier in doing so and then being able to get away from that situation, resolve it. Or it could be about the transit south node is about what you're going away from. It could be being able to get away from something, so you're able to confront somebody about something that maybe has been stalled for some time, or you might have procrastinated or hesitated on. Now, another way this transit could manifest, it could be about very positive, for going away from, which is the south node, and it could be in some cases a sexual relationship, which is Mars, that may be affecting you to your detriment. If the natal Mars is in Gemini, as an example, it could be a sexual connection that's superficial or flighty, or one where the person's not reliable, that's gossiping constantly, as some examples. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back, but anyway. Now, this transit could also be auspicious to do something that you may feel, some natural ability for, where you feel at this time you have, natural proficiency in, which is the South Node, and have that enthusiasm, which is Mars, for. So, if the South Node, transit South Node is in Sagittarius as an example, it could be doing something with the sports, advertising, or adventure, the outdoors, um, publishing, even something with printing press operation as some examples. And also too, people prominent in your past, which is the South Node, may be more in harmony and agreement with what drives and motivates you, which is Mars. Now, if the natal Mars is in Capricorn, it could simply be having structure, success, discipline, social status, attaining career ambitions, and also this could be a transit where it's propitious to leave behind, which is the South Node, and focus on your actions, which is Mars. Now, if the natal Mars is in the zodiac sign Cancer, as an example, it's my placement. Those actions may be ones that are very introverted. It could be involving family, it could involve plumbing or laundry, or some kind of home renovation, remodeling project, something with real estate, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.